Yo, what it do, y'all? Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. I'm out here trying to grind it out. Make sure y'all get the best content and y'all learn. I want y'all to learn something from this. Make sure.
Okay, let me paint you a picture. You're building a startup. You just raised $10 million from a guy in a Patagonia vest named Chad. Your pitch deck said AI 47 times and had a photo of Iron Man because you're disrupting intelligence. Naturally, you slap GPT into your app, add a few flowcharts, and boom.
All right. I'm gonna say this now and go on the limb after using a lot of AI stuff. Chat GPT has to be the worst commercial product I've used when it comes to artificial intelligence. Now, I don't know if they do that purposefully to make you have to kind of how can I say, like, when you don't want to give someone the best product, you kind of want to have someone with skills to utilize the best portions of the product. Something like that. Like, I know how to use ChatGPT. It's fucking annoying as hell. Any developer who knows how to use ChatGPT will tell you it's the most annoying process to getting the answer you want. You'll know when you get it. But I don't think that I think Claude is by far way better than ChatGPT. Like, and it makes sense why the advancements on ChatGPT's end are trying to move away from the second, third, and fourth place AI companies because they're probably just as good. I just wanted to go on my little rant there. Thank you. Let's continue the video.
You're now an AI automation platform for enterprise data agent workflows, whatever that means. And that's kind of where langflow comes in. Langflow is one of those low-code tools that makes it look like you're doing something very technical when you're really just drawing colorful boxes that say, call OpenAI and query MongoDB. Basically, it's like a visual scripting tool for building AI agents. Drag and drop your way to God mode. Now here's the part that made me laugh out loud. They had an endpoint, an actual expose API endpoint, called /APIV one validate code. Sounds harmless, right? Just a nice little validation step, check that the code is legit, make sure you're not uploading a script that turns your server into a crypto miner. Except they forgot one tiny thing. When you're validating user-submitted Python code, you don't actually want to run the code. And yes, that is what they did. This
Oh, yo, it's crazy. Yo, I like the editing. Whoever edited this video is a fucking god, bruh. Because my facial expression at 103 or 102 was, oh, shit, dog.
endpoint
I'll leave
accepted
it like
Python
that.
code and then parsed and evaluated it on the server with no sandboxing, no input sanitization.
Yo, whoa, no sandbox is crazy. Hold on, dog. Kaya, let me hear this, Craig. I felt the need to edit everything in I don't even want to say it because of how this is educational purposes
No
only,
isolation,
actually.
just
No.
straight up running arbitrary Python code on the back end. Langflow's code literally parsed the abstract syntax tree, that thing Python uses to break down your script into pieces before execution, and then it walked through the import statements and function definitions to check if everything matched the expected API structure. Because Langflow wanted to be sure the code played nicely with their agent system. That sounds smart, like in theory. But here's where it all goes off the rails. In
Yo,
Python,
that does not sound safe. It sounded smart. It sounded like it might work. I'm gonna start changing. It sounded like it would have worked had things been placed differently or circumstances been different. But in theory, that's when you could say, in theory, we don't operate like that. So 99% of the way you think will have to get modified. Not because you're wrong, it's because we as humans just don't think like that. That's why collaborative work is always like it's always like what's the fucking word? Collaborative work is always looked at as the best option when it comes to creativity. That's the best way I could put it. Because you don't want one person's input on something that the masses will be looking at. And that's for entertainment, programming, sports, you name it. When the masses is involved, collaborative is involved. You need more people. That's just
defining a function doesn't just store the function. If there's a decorator on that function, that little at something line above the def, that gets executed immediately during definition. So, a malicious hacker could just write something like and langflow in its noble quest to validate the code, would evaluate that function definition, and boom. The decorator runs, payload delivered, hacker is in. No need to even call the function. That's how Horizon 3.ai found the vuln. They uploaded a script with a malicious decorator, got remote code execution RCE, and popped a shell on the back end. What's worse? They found that while the container showed the user wasn't root, the group ID was root. And yeah, that's still very, very bad. Group level access can still be enough to mess with things like slash, etc., slash.
You know what's crazy? I'm starting to realize a common like theme right now because Vercel had the same issue, no? They had like a root issue when it comes to people just having access to logins and bypass stuff. So for streaming platforms like Netflix and stuff, I could just say slash home, netflix.com/home, and I might get in. You get what I mean? It seems like that is a theme where like routing and trying to uh, make sure that you're routing the right people to the right direct gateways, I'm gonna say, because you can't even say directions, because in theory, if you say directions, then you kind of broke through the code. You got like routing the right gateway is an issue because the code may debug somewhere down the line and you may find a gateway issue. That's why I said you have to reword it. It may be more of a gateway issue where like a code can leak something in a console, like a password, if an error or a bug occurs. Or it just like allows you to bypass something just by proving you're a human. Like yo, the cybersecurity is needed more now more than ever.
Shared memory, logs, processes, all kinds of fun stuff. And this wasn't some theoretical, we could have done it attack. This was in the wild. Like CISA issued an alert. Real hackers were exploiting this. Langflow did patch it in version 1.00, credit where it's due. But honestly, the fix was just them finally sandboxing the code and making sure it doesn't execute decorators during validation, which is, again, something I should have done from day zero. If you've ever built any kind of system where users can submit code, even a CTF, a code judge, a playground, whatever. You know the first rule is never run untrusted code directly, not on your machine, not even on your cousin's Raspberry Pi. You isolate it, Docker it, jail it, burn it in a fire. The wildest part? Just looking at the langflow validation code. Like the actual formatting, the weird comment spacing, the chunky indentation. It looks AI generated. This is what I mean when I say AI isn't the problem. But throwing AI at everything without
That's the
understanding what
problem.
it's doing.
Yeah, and that makes sense because me going to my OPSEC, well I said OPSEC, me going through my CompTIA courses, I'm on core one right now, I just finished studying, and even I know there's certain security vulnerabilities that could be done differently. Let me just make sure I'm not butchering what I want to say. Oh yeah, when it comes to how you want to run it, because when I got to VM and virtual machines, I'm realizing that like naturally click uh that it will make more sense to build or have your software on the virtual machine just to keep it away from your hard like actual machine. So if something does happen, almost like a flash drive, you could just pull out of it, and always have a copy of it and fucking yeah, you can always figure that part out, but as long as it's not on your actual shit, like as long as the environment you're running it in is perfect, the pen testing stuff doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like now you're just having fun and tinkering around.
The langflow validation code. Like the actual formatting, the weird comment spacing, the chunky indentation. It looks AI generated. This is what I mean when I say AI isn't the problem. But throwing AI at everything without understanding what it's doing absolutely is. You can't have AI write half your backend and then be shocked when it forgets Security 101 like don't run stranger code directly on prod. That's not even Security 101. That's common sense. Imagine I'm performing surgery, but the entire operation is led by an AI assistant that says insert scalpel into eye socket. If I blindly follow that because the model knows best, it's not the AI's fault. It's mine for trusting it without checking the math. That's what's happening here. AI is being treated like some magic oracle that doesn't need supervision, and that's a problem. So, what's the lesson here? If you're building an AI tool, great, do it, it's cool. But please, for the love of root access, make sure there's a human who actually understands what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, I'm gonna just leave it right there because not that much. Look, When it comes to artificial intelligence, you'll have one party say that you don't learn anything, even using it for a little bit. I don't agree with that, but overusing it is a thing. It's actually pretty bad, worse than brain rot. I think that for anything, balance and moderation is the key. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want more, please.